Okay, we're still on cloud number 7, Halacha Yud Gimel. We only have a few minutes today, not as much as normal. He explains as follows: V'lifamim, at times, nitan reshut lebet din. Bet din is authorized to impose extra punishment. Mipnei tzorech sha'ah, as a result of a very pressing need, based on the evidence that they got. Kegon, for example, echad ba litz'ok lifnehem al devar geneva shenignav mimenu. Someone comes to Bet Din to complain that something was stolen from them. Vehu mesha'er bevadai bidvarim anikarim mamash. And the claimant determines for sure that based on the evidence, shiploni ganav mimenu ha'hefetz, that so and so for sure stole this item. Vegama Bet Din ro'in et devarim anikarim. And the Bet Din was able to corroborate this evidence. And this is the time even before there was Nest cameras around. This was when the Chafetz Chaim was writing. But the Bet Din could figure out it was him. Or there were other witnesses that testified before them about this evidence. Nitan lahem reshut lehakoto kedesh yodeh. The Bet Din is authorized to strike this criminal in order to for him to confess.
What if they're wrong? I'm asking you a question. What if they're wrong?
Do you have witnesses?
They don't have witnesses.
They said they have witnesses, yeah.
They did say that.
They said either they saw that the evidence is right, or they have witnesses that saw him do it.
So that's like
you still got to make him confess.
We don't have
Okay.
There. So it's hearsay. They're saying either witnesses or corroborating evidence. So the corroborating evidence cannot be someone saw it because that's a witness. So it's the second part.
Yeah.
So the second part is.
I don't know what like back then again there was no cameras, so what it was, I'm not sure. Footsteps, foot marks, shoe marks. I don't know, right? Whatever they would do.
Let's coerce a confession.
They're coerce a confession. Back then that was legal. That was olden days. They used to do that. Today they don't beat up a guy. They'll lock him up and try to get it out of him. But back then that's what the Bet Din did. We find many. Do you mind that I ask questions? Okay, just one second. Do you mind that I ask questions? No, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Aval yachid. But in the case of an individual, or afilu lebet din, or even a bet din, rak shelo nitparel lahem advarim anikarim ki ima yedei hatovea. Where an individual knows of the evidence only from the claimant, then lo nitan reshut hazeh. They don't have authority to do this. So if you only heard from the guy who's claiming that his item was stolen, that's not enough. But it has to be from other people who claim that they saw it happen, or there was corroborating evidence from those people. Umizeh tireh, and in light of this law, we can see kama nashim to'in beinyanim elu, how gravely people make a mistake in regard to these issues. Shim nignav lahem chefetz, for when something is stolen from them, v'yesh lahem al echad chashad, and they suspect a particular individual of theft, omrim letovei ha'ir, they go to the city council, sheyesh lahem al echad devarim nikarim, that they have this evidence that proves the guilt of this guy, v'hemakim v'onshin shelo min adin, and the members are striking and punishing this guy, kedesh yodeh, to extract the confession, but it's done unlawfully. Ube'emet hu shelo kadin. In truth, this conduct is is against the law. Because even if these devarim nikarim could be considered proof of the actual act of stealing, and the members of the council are considered like bedin, still in order for them to take action, you have to A, know beforehand as a fact that the fellow was burglarized, and B, they have to hear from witnesses about the dvarim nikarim or a person seeing the evidence. Kemo, like the case in Mar Zutra, which was quoted above, but we didn't quote that. The story about Metzia, second chapter, a silver goblet was stolen from Mar Zutra's host's house. Mar Zutra noticed one of the guests wiping his hands on someone else's garment without permission. And this disregard of other people's belongings was deemed corroborating evidence that he was the thief. Using his authority as a judge, Mar Zutra arranged for the suspect to be coerced. He confessed a crime and returned the goblet. So Chafetz Chaim explains, however, that the court must have independent knowledge of the corroborating evidence. The fact that the claimant himself or a single witness tells them about the corroborating evidence is not sufficient. Okay? So yeah, that is the story in Masechet Bava Metzia. Aval lo lismoch al hatovea. You can't rely solely on the claimant. Yeah. Aval lo lismoch al hatovea. You can't rely solely on the claimant. Ulakot ez Yisrael bechinam, and strike a Jew without any legal basis. Va'afilu rak lehamin latovea balev. Even to merely believe the words of the claimant, she'ish ze ganav meito, that the alleged suspect stole from him, asur, mipnei kabbalat lashon hara, it's forbidden because of accepting lashon hara. Ve'achad kama ve'kama, all the more so, lismoch al ze le'akoto, to rely on the claimant and strike this suspect just based on his complaint. The isur gadol osim bazeh, this is a grave sin, ve'ovrim alav de lo yosif, and they violate the prohibition of do not increase the number of blows, because only when you are found guilty by the Bedin, you get 39 lashes. And you striking somebody else when you're not found guilty, you're being mosif, the number of blows, and this is the Avera prohibiting one from striking another Jew. Alright, so that's the end of cloud number 7. We have a couple more minutes, so let's just read the summary of what we said in the last few days. Number 1, it is, and also from before the break. Number 1, it's forbidden to accept Lashon Hara. This applies even if A, the Lashon Hara was spoken in public, B, the subject was present and remained silent as he was being defamed, even though he is usually the type to defend his reputation. It's also forbidden to accept Lashon Hara if the Lashon Hara was heard from 2 witnesses but outside Bedin, or if the rumors that are circulating support the account. And it's also forbidden if the speaker admits to being a participant in the very same incident for which he is defaming the subject. Number 2, although we may not believe Lashon Hara, it is permitted to take precautions to spare oneself or others from possible harm. Number 3, it's permitted to accept Lashon Hara about an established Rasha, that is, someone who even before this report circulated was known to blatantly transgress well-known prohibitions, such as adultery. Number 4, there are certain situations, however, where a person may conceivably be permitted to believe that an ordinary Jew, meaning a non-Rasha, committed a transgression. The following 3 situations. Me'eman keveitrei, which means he heard the account from someone whom he trusts as much as 2 valid witnesses. B, dvarim anikarim, there are recognizable signs that the account is true. And mesiach lefi tumo, he heard the account from someone who's conversing casually. In practice, however, even with these 3 things, the Chafetz Chaim writes that we should be careful about accepting Lashon Hara in each of these 3 cases, since, number 1, today we do not have people who qualify as me'eman keveitrei. B, we must ascertain that the circumstances legally reach the threshold of Devarim Nikarim. And C, it's unclear whether Mesiach Lefi Tumo, conversing casually, can be applied to all situations of accepting Lashon Hara. 5, even in these cases, the listener may accept the story as true only if the speaker has first-hand knowledge that the subject is guilty of a clear, well-defined prohibition in the Torah. He may not accept the Lashon Hara if A, the subject's actions can be justified in any way, B, they can be attributed to ignorance or lack intention, or C, if the account is irrelevant because it concerns the subject's ancestors or previous misdoings or personal shortcomings. 6, even if all these conditions are met, the listener is permitted to believe the account only with respect to refraining from associating with the perpetrator. He may not repeat the information to others, belittle or embarrass the subject, or cause him monetary damage. And lastly, Bet Din may mete out punishment based on Dvarim Anikarim in specific cases. Okay, we'll stop here and we'll continue next time.